And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we're going to be talking about how tens of thousands of CDL licenses are being revoked. They're not being renewed. And these are for people who are in the country. Some people with permission. Migrants, people who are in the country with permission, and then for people who are in the country without permission as well. So you have people who are on visas. Like, imagine you come into the United States on a tourist visa, right? You might get to stay in the country for a few months. And there are people, presumably right now, who are like, you know, while I'm in the United States, I should drive one of those big rigs. Go ahead because you can get a tourist visa for up to 6 months, maybe more, but the longest I've heard is 6 months. So imagine you go to CDL school, get here, pop right into a CDL school, get your license, and drive a couple of cross-country loads to get your money up before you go back home. Well, the United States Department of Transportation is trying to put a crackdown on just that type of, well, what they would say is a bad and illegal practice. And also, of course, people who are in the country without any type of permission have been driving loads as well. And so all of this comes in the wake of many high-profile crashes, people who are in the country, some of them, or maybe even many of them, who can't even read the English road signs, are driving across country, y'all, from state to state in interstate commerce, and the DOT is trying to stop that. And this looks like it's going to threaten thousands of driving schools across the country. So it looks like there's a whole, y'all, this could be a multi-billion-dollar industry. It probably is, frankly, where you have people who are not only training and helping to license drivers who are in the country without permission to do CDL driving, let's put it like that. And also all of the loads that they're taking. I mean, how much would be the value of all of that merchandise we have 17,000 people just in California who are no longer going to be able to drive. So, y'all, this is a big story. You know, it comes at a time where the economy's fragile. So we're going to have to see what type of repercussions this has. And without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're going to feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is going to go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
Well, today, the driver's licenses for thousands of commercial drivers across the state were revoked. That includes operators of semi-trucks, school buses, and even some construction workers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that this is because they were illegally issued to, quote, dangerous foreign drivers. But the Trump administration and Governor Gavin Newsom's office have different stories about why this happened. NBC4's Alex Brosier joins us live from the Commerce truck stop with those details. Alex.
Yeah, today the Department of Transportation put out a statement saying that those 17,000 CDLs were revoked in the state of California because they were illegally issued. But the governor's office quickly responded, saying the Department of Transportation just isn't sharing the truth. Today, truck drivers got back on the road after filling up at the Commerce truck stop. On the same day, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said the California DMV revoked 17,000 commercial driver's licenses in the state because Duffy said the CDLs were illegally issued to, quote, dangerous foreign drivers. This morning, the California DMV asked the governor's office to respond, and Governor Newsom's spokesperson said, quote, once again, the Sean Road Rules Duffy fails to share the truth, spreading easily disproven falsehoods in a sad and desperate attempt to please his dear leader. The governor's office says the impacted drivers are not illegal immigrants and that the licenses were withdrawn due to, quote, inconsistency with California law. The DMV didn't respond when asked for further clarification on what that means. But the news comes 1 month after a semi-truck driver who was in the United States illegally was accused of causing a crash that killed 3 people in Ontario. And it follows the California DMV's announcement in September that the DMV cannot issue or renew CDLs to people who are here legally in the United States but are not permanent residents or citizens.
So as you're going to see in this next piece, y'all, the crackdown is threatening up to 3,000 driving schools across the country, according to Fox Business. So 3,000 driving schools, y'all. That's an average of 60 different schools per state.
The Transportation Department cracking down on illegal providers of commercial driver's licenses. Max Gordon joining us now. All right, Max, what exactly is the administration doing about this?
Hey there, Stu. Well, about 3,000 U.S. trucking schools are about to lose their accreditation if they don't make major changes within the next 30 days. And then another 4,000 U.S. truck schools are being put on notice. Now, according to the DOT, this accounts for around 44% of the total federally registered U.S. truck schools. Now, some of the reasons why these schools are about to be shut down are falsifying or manipulating training data, not meeting required curriculum standards, facility conditions or instructor qualifications, and failing to maintain accurate, complete documentation or failing to provide records. This after a high-profile semi-truck crash in Florida killed 3 people. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the crash was caused by a truck-driving immigrant in the country illegally. That crash and others following it sparked a debate over issuing commercial driver's licenses to non-citizens. A federal judge temporarily blocked a move by the DOT to limit CDLs for immigrants. Meanwhile, California revoked 17,000 so-called non-domiciled CDLs, and Minnesota and Pennsylvania have been instructed to take similar action after an audit from the DOT.
So, y'all, I think that a lot of people have complained because they say, well, if you're in the United States and you can barely speak English, how are you going to properly read the road signs? How could you interact with other drivers? Now, you don't do a whole lot of English language interaction with drivers, but you may have to interact with law enforcement, and that would be very difficult if you don't speak English. So there are people who are on the English speaking side who like, look, if you're going to drive these big 18-wheelers, you have to speak English proficiently, right? Maybe not perfectly, but you have to be able to read, write, and speak English. And it would seem like that would make a lot of sense if you're going to be driving some of the biggest and potentially most dangerous vehicles on the road.
We have definitely seen the impact on our students.
Rosie Trujillo is the office manager at the Los Angeles Trucking College.
We've had a student here and he had already his license, was working, family man, so he just had to go to the DMV and renew his license. He had a DACA, he went, and when he tried to renew it, he couldn't anymore. They said that they don't accept it unless he has residency or citizenship.
And Rosie says most of their students weren't born in the United States.
Not a lot of people that have the citizenship or residency want to do this. It's people that come from other countries with DACAs, with work permits. They're the ones that really want that change in their lives, and they were the ones coming to get their CDL license. We're just afraid that it's going to impact and affect our business, and we don't want it to. We want to be here for a long time.
So the bottom line is the Trump administration and Governor Newsom's team tell different stories about why this happened. But either way, 17,000 drivers with CDLs in the state of California are no longer able to legally drive with that CDL here in the state. Reporting live in Commerce, I'm Alex Rozier.
And there really are too many states to bring all of the stories to you in one video, but we're going to pop over to one additional state, which is Alabama. They have been ramping up their enforcement efforts as well. They have seen the crashes just like other states have, and Alabama has detained dozens of people under similar auspices.
82 truck drivers have been detained in Alabama on ICE hold since late October. It is part of a new state crackdown on commercial drivers. Governor Kay Ivey says 12 of those detained did not have a license of any kind. Our Shelby Myers in the studio now. And Shelby, you spoke with the Alabama Trucking Association about this.
Yeah, I did, Camera. The president and CEO says this crackdown will hopefully weed out what he calls bad actors in the trucking industry. Multiple fatal truck crashes led the U.S. Department of Transportation to promise a crackdown on issuing commercial driver's licenses, or CDLs. One of those deadly crashes happened in Thomasville over the summer. A Ukrainian-born truck driver ran a red light. He crashed into several cars, killing 2 people. He was in the U.S. on a visa and had a valid license, but he does not speak English. English proficiency is required for a CDL. Alabama joining in on the crackdown. Governor Kay Ivey announcing a partnership between ALEA and ICE. They're targeting major interstate corridors where truck traffic is heavy. Governor Ivey says troopers referred 242 people to ICE during 2 operations over the past 2 months. Of those, 82 drivers were detained based on their immigration status, and 12 of those did not even have a driver's license of any kind.
When I talk to truck drivers and professional drivers and small business owners, they're frustrated because they're in a tough economy. On one side, they get attacked by lawyers and frivolous lawsuits, and on another, unfair competition for people who break the rules and don't operate fairly and unsafely.
So yeah, y'all, driving a big rig CDL is one of the ways that Americans make ends meet. My understanding is that driver is one of the most popular jobs in the entire country. So many people are applauding this attempt to reserve driving jobs for Americans. So we'll see what's going to happen, y'all. Let me know, what do you think? Do you support this approach? Do you support this approach to have the CDL just for Americans, or maybe for Americans and permanent residents? Or do you think anybody with a driver's license or anybody with even a visa should be able to go ahead and hop on those roads? Let me know what you think, y'all. Drop a comment down below in the comment section. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. We'll see you back in the next one.